Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're looking at a devotional called Trust the God Who Rules Through It All.
Right. It focuses on a passage in 2 Kings, near the end, chapters 23 and 24.
And specifically that line in 24.3, surely these things happened to Judah according to the Lord's command. That's pretty striking.
It is. The whole point seems to be about holding on to trust, perspective when everything feels uncertain, chaotic even.
Yeah, using Judah's history as a kind of mirror for our own times, maybe.
Exactly. It suggests these feelings, this instability, it's not new. History might have some answers.
Okay, so let's get into the first big lesson the devotional pulls out. Sin has real consequences.
It makes the point that, look, even though King Josiah had that big revival...
Right, he tried to turn things around.
He did. But the past sins, especially under King Manasseh and Manasseh's reign, was notoriously bad.
Innocent blood, the devotional mentions.
Yeah, that and the nation just not fully coming back to God. Those things they still brought about judgment.
So forgiveness is real, but actions, they leave a mark.
That's the idea. Consequences linger. They shape what comes next for people, for whole communities.
Like ripples in a pond, sort of?
Precisely. You might fix the source, but the ripples continue for a while.
So what's the practical application for us then? What do we do with that?
Well, the devotional says it means taking our choices seriously, dealing with wrongdoing quickly.
Confession and actually turning away from it.
Yes, and teaching others, maybe our kids or community, to live honorably. And praying for the community, the nation.
Recognizing our actions carry weight. It's not just about me.
Connects to the bigger picture, doesn't it? Moves us past seeing history or even current events as just random. There's a moral element.
Decisions create patterns. Okay. So not dwelling on the past, but being mindful now.
Mindful of the direction we're heading. Okay, so the second lesson.
God reigns over every nation.
Yeah. And the context in 2 Kings is just turmoil. Kings rising, falling fast.
Jehoahaz, Jehoiakim.
Right. And these huge powers, Egypt and Babylon, are wrestling for control over the region, including Judah. It sounds incredibly unstable.
Like being caught between 2 giants fighting.
Exactly. And the devotional's core insight here is that amidst all that chaos, it argues God was actually directing events.
So not just reacting, but actively guiding, according to his plan.
That's the assertion. A level of divine oversight, even when, on the ground, it must have felt completely out of control.
So thinking about our world today, complex, often overwhelming.
Right. This perspective suggests maybe there's a deeper order, a larger pattern we can't always see.
Okay, so what are the practical steps? How does that help, you and me day to day?
Well, it encourages us to think about where we put our ultimate trust. Is it just in, say, political systems?
Or is it something deeper?
Exactly. The devotional suggests prioritizing spiritual nourishment, maybe not being glued to the 24/7 news cycle constantly.
Which can be pretty unsettling.
It can. Instead, maybe more time praying for wisdom, for peace, anchoring our security in faith, not just earthly things.
It really makes you ask yourself, where do I find stability when things feel shaky?
That's the question.
Okay, so bringing it all together.
Yeah.
This deep dive seems to land on this core message. God is both just our actions matter, there are consequences.
And he's in control even when life feels overwhelming, confusing.
The devotional sums it up with that one-word idea. Trust God and live wisely.
Simple but profound. Trust and wisdom hand in hand.
And maybe the final thought to leave folks with is, how does really grasping this shift things?
Yeah, how does knowing actions have consequences and believing there might be a larger unseen order? How does that change how you see the news or the choices you make today?
It's about living with, both awareness of our impact and that deeper trust.
Awareness and trust. That seems to capture it well.